Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. So, in recent days on Twitter, there was some discourse about VTubers playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And whether or not they're actually any good at the game or not, which I kind of think is, frankly, pretty stupid. Like, I don't know why having an avatar on your screen would make you any less good at the game. But anyway, I decided to, on our latest stream on last Thursday, at the time of recording this, yes, it was on Thursday, I decided to fight for VTubers everywhere. And I took not just any Live Twin deck, Live Twin of course, because these are the VTuber reps here in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ki-Sikil and Lil-la mostly, but also wanted to play a Spright Synchro deck. I've been meaning to get back to this archetype anyway. And Twin Spright Synchro is a deck that I have covered in the past, a few seasons ago, and I think it works quite well, so I wanted to go ahead and try it again. And when we played it on stream, it did end up working quite well. We went 12-5 was our final record of the 17 games we played on stream. And we did that in Master 4 up to Master 2. So it was within Master Rank even that we climbed ladder with this deck. I mean, 12-5 isn't the biggest sample size, but it's a pretty good win rate. It's close to like 75%, I think. Quick math. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this list a bit. So what mainly inspired me to come back to Twin Spright Synchro is that I had seen some amount of Twin Spright decks having success lately, particularly ones that were maining some of the Bystial monsters. Indeed, the Bystial monsters actually do end up being pretty good in this meta, with Mathmech hugely on the rise and Kashira hugely on the fall. Bystial stonks are definitely up right now. And of course, there's plenty of light and dark monsters in Dragon Link, Branded. These are decks that actually can not only run Bystials, but also can be impacted by a Bystial hitting them as well. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty good time to start playing Bystials in your deck if you have the room, or if your deck is an archetype that can reasonably accommodate them. And with the Twin Spright deck, that ends up being the case on both fronts. So, of course, we're already interested in the Bystials for Synchro summoning. We're playing a rather limited Synchro package here. We only have 4 Synchro monsters. In a perfect world, I would also have, like, Stardust Excel as a second level 8, and Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Shenging as an additional level 10 option. But I will say, one of the bigger weaknesses of Twin Spright Synchro is just how tightly packed both your main, but especially your extra deck are. Like, you'll notice that we're not running quite a few stuff you would normally see in Live Twin decks. Like, we only have the one Triple Sunny. I think usually I'd like to have a second copy. We don't have, like, the rank 2s that you would normally see in, like, Spright and stuff. We don't have a Zeus line. And again, we're lacking on a lot of the extra synchros that I would like to have, all because we have to fit all of this in one 15-card extra deck. Granted, the second Gigantic is probably pretty cuttable, but when playing Spright Synchro, not just this variant, but Spright Synchro in general, I've noticed that having a second Gigantic is actually pretty important, because a lot of the time you'll use your Gigantic in your turn 1 combo, and then if your opponent cracks back, you often need a big beater to get over some of their stuff, or even just a way to start some amount of plays. So having the second Gigantic in that regard ends up being very helpful. I've run into a tournament match that I can think of off the top of my head in a Rourke-less Championship series, as well as a few times on ladder where I've really needed the second Gigantic. So that's where my flex spot is right now, but you could do another level 8 Synchro, you could try to fit in Zeus and Downard, maybe. The other thing is, like, you definitely do need 2 Ki-Sikils, right, just being a twin deck in general. Because the way the twin combo line works out is that, you know, you'll make both the Ki-Sikil and the Lil-la, but then we need to go into a second Ki-Sikil so that way we can actually bring back the Lil-la on our opponent's turn and use it as a disruption. By the way, none of these engines actually conflict with one another. That's a pretty common question I have when I play this deck, is like, can you really do all this in the same turn? And the answer is yes. You just need to do your Synchro stuff first, then your Spright stuff, then your Twin stuff. If you do it in that order, you will end up not getting locked there. Also, in the interest of not getting locked specifically on our opponent's turn, our IP targets are going to be Knightmare Unicorn and Avermax, or sorry, not Avermax, specifically we're not playing Avermax, but Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. The reason we're mainly playing Knightmare Unicorn over Avermax is because it is, of course, a Fiend, so if you end up using the Ki-Sikil to bring back the Lil-la during your opponent's turn, but you haven't used the IP yet, you can still go into your targets because they are, again, both Fiend monsters. So We also have Chaos Angel is also uniquely a Fiend monster, although you probably won't end up in a situation where you're Synchro summoning this after you're twin locked, but Chaos Angel is definitely not bad here, especially because we can make it with Chaos Ruler plus one of our live twin monsters, and if you use the live twin Ki-Sikil or Ki-Sikil Frost in particular, then you will have made it with both a light and a dark. You can also use Lubellion plus, you know, any of your dark level 2 monsters. We have a ton of them, so it ends up being pretty easy to make Chaos Angel in this deck with both ends of it active, so to speak. The destroy by battle protection for using dark, as well as the unaffected by monster effects that are activated due to light. And of course, banishing upon summon, definitely not too shabby either. I think if you were looking for room in the main deck, you could trim back on the Bystial engine if you really wanted to. Like, yeah, obviously, like, Magnamhut and Druiswarm are pretty good, but we don't necessarily need Saronir, Lubellion, and Regained. You could cut those out for more disruption, an expanded Spright package if you wanted to play another Red and another Carrot. But I would play at least 3 Bystial cards, I think, and if you're not going to play the Saronir, Lubellion, and Regained package, then you could just throw in, like, a Baldrick as your third one. I think that would be fine. I think as far as other disruption that I wanted to fit in the deck but didn't have room for in the main deck was Drolls. Droll Knockbird is insanely good right now, so I think any deck that can get away with meaning it should. It's just, again, we're trying to cram so many engines, like there's so much going on in one deck here that it's hard to find room for like tech like that. So yeah, I think that covers pretty much everything I have to say about the list. There might be some cards that seem a bit weird here, like Caligo, Clawcrow, and Shinobi Necro. Don't worry, as we go through the games, you'll see where those cards come up. And if you've seen me play any amount of Spright Synchro in the past, you've seen me utilize these cards in the past as well. But for a quick overview, we're mainly looking to send the Shinobi Necro off of the Sprind. And then Caligo Clawcrow has 600 defense, so it's our Cupid Pitch target. And it's a free extender. It's level 2. We often have dark monsters in play, so. But yeah, let's go ahead and break this list down card by card, and we'll see some of those games. We are on 3 Maxx, 1 Caligo Clawcrow, 1 Shinobi Necro, 3 Live Twin Ki-Sikil, 3 Live Twin Lil-la, 1 Live Twin Ki-Sikil Frost, 2 Spright Blue, 1 Spright Jet, 1 Spright Red, 1 Spright Carrot, 3 Assault Synchron, 3 Ash Blossom and a Joyous Spring, 1 Bystial Magnamhut, 2 Bystial Saronir, 1 Bystial Druiswarm, 2 Bystial Lubellion, 3 Live Twin Sunny Snitch, 1 Branded Regained, 2 Called by the Grave, 1 Spright Starter, 1 Spright Smashers, and then 3 Infinite Impermanence. So there is our main deck. For the extra deck, we are on 1 Cupid Pitch, 1 Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon, 1 Baronne de Fleur, 1 Chaos Angel, 2 Gigantic Spright, 1 IP Masquerena, 2 Evil Twin Ki-Sikil, 1 Evil Twin Lil-la, 1 Spright Elf, 1 Spright Sprind, 1 Knightmare Unicorn, 1 Evil Twins Trouble Sunny, and then 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. That's going to do it for our list. Let's go ahead and see those games. Alright, we'll just fire these games off in the order that we played them in. This duel, our first game, is actually going to be against a stun deck. So, everyone's favorite deck to play against. But, thankfully, we did get to take the first turn here. So, opponent's not going to be flipping up floodgates on us and calling it a day. So, this hand looks kind of dead, but it's actually got a lot of plays here. I'm actually going to start by normal summoning Maxx of all things, then specially summoning the Spright Jet. And if you're in a situation where you can make Sprind and you have a Bystial in hand, you can definitely still do Synchro plays, as I'll show you here. We're going to go into Sprind and send the Shinobi Necro. I'm going to summon Magnamhut here. I think maybe I should have summoned a Saronir, but because if I'm recalling correctly, we're going to have a little bit of trouble getting a light monster into the graveyard. Normally, Cupid Pitch, like, you might be looking at the main deck and being like, aren't we a little light on light monsters? We do have the Evil Twin Ki-Sikils, but even if we don't do an Evil Twin line, there is still Cupid Pitch is going to be one of our main lights that we put in there. And of course, there's always Bystial Lubellion as well. So here, I'm really looking for Assault Synchron, and we did find it. There he is. Here's our boy. This is our little man right here. I just love Assault Synchron. It's like one of my favorite cards ever. So, if not my favorite card ever. Alright, we get to set up the Baronne here. I'm going to go ahead and summon the Saronir next. And yeah, if I'd actually summoned a Saronir, then I would have had a Lubellion in play, and I could have brought back my Chaos Ruler. But it's not that big of a deal, because we don't have another tuner to like make another Synchro monster anyway, so you could even debate whether bringing back Chaos Ruler was actually right here or not. Oh, you know what? Actually, I also made another misplay there. Because my original plan was to actually keep the Sprind in play as well as Gigantic, but I ended up putting Gigantic in the zone that Sprind points to, which is a little bit awkward. So we're going to have to link it off at the end, but I think ultimately what my main misplay here was not using the Sprind to make the Gigantic, because then, you know, you can't use Sprind as a link material, so then I can't put Elf up here, and I can't go Elf IP as a result. So it's going to be a very minor misplay, but it's also debatably like not even that much of a misplay at all, because this board state does end us with 3 negates with Red, Carrot, and Baronne, which I don't think our others would have necessarily done that. Oh, and then we get to bring back the Druiswarm to hand. And we have a Maxx too, so it's like, you know, did we throw, did we not? It's like, we did misplay, but I don't think we threw by any means. So opponent's going to start off by activating Necro Valley. I'm definitely going to chain the Elf in response to bring back the Jet. And I don't really feel the need to use Carrot here, honestly, because the Elf was our only point of really graveyard interaction that we have for our opponent's turn. I mean, of course, we could still try to bring back Chaos Ruler in a perfect world, but, you know, when it comes back around to our turn, I can always just use, like, Baronne to pop the Necro Valley or something, so. The Nadir Servant, I did ultimately decide to negate this one with Carrot. The reason I decided to negate Nadir Servant and not the Necro Valley, again, as I already explained, the Necro Valley doesn't really stop us from doing anything except for using Elf, which we can just change the activation of Necro Valley anyway. Nadir Servant, on the other hand, this does threaten a couple of things. Not only, of course, does it threaten the search for the Dogmatica monster, but also sending a monster from the extra deck to the graveyard. It's probably going to be Entes here, so I figure I use Carrot on Nadir Servant here. That way we can go ahead and just get rid of, like, you know, multiple activations in one. Basically, not only the Ecclesia search, but again, the Entes or whatever my opponent was planning on sending there. Prosperity is fine. I'll just let this resolve and negate whatever they end up adding here. Fossil and a Book of Moon Herald, the Moon Mirror Shield, and the Ecclesia, as well as Jowgen. And they ultimately end up taking the Moon Mirror Shield. Now, honestly, that is probably the best thing for them to take for me here. Like, I don't know, I guess Fossil and Jowgen don't really do anything with me already having an established board. But, like, especially with my Carrot already being used, like, I think Book of Moon or Herald of the Abyss could have really potentially messed me up here. If they had used one of those in order to, like, get rid of the Baron. But, to be fair, I don't know what the rest of their hand looks like. Maybe if they do that, I don't have a way to clear the rest of my board. They're going to try to special Ecclesia, which I thought was really greedy, because I can definitely just negate and destroy it with red. I don't know why you wouldn't just normal summon it here. I guess they want to normal summon Fossil Dyna instead, but, like, yeah, I'm definitely just going to Baron the Moon Mirror Shield. Opponent has 1 card left in hand. Now, I was a little bit concerned here. I was a little bit concerned that maybe our opponent's last card was going to be like Card of Demise. So, funnily enough, I did actually debate not negating the Moon Mirror Shield here. This would have allowed my opponent to battle over the Baron, but assuming their last card is a follow-up card like Card of Demise, well, I guess then I don't have a negate anyway, so that's kind of a moot point. Okay, never mind, I just talked myself out of it. Yeah, I think negating Moon Mirror Shield there is pretty much right no matter what. It's like, you know, if they have Card of Demise, they have it. It's like, yeah, if they have it, they have it. If they don't, they don't. Well, also they use Prosperity, that's right, so they can't even draw additional cards this turn. I always forget about that with Prosperity. I think that's a clause on it, or is that X-Draft? I always mix these up. For the rest of the turns resolves, you can battle damage your opponent's take, place on the bottom of the order. You cannot draw cards. Okay, so we didn't have anything to worry about there anyway, but oops. Didn't mean to go back into the replays here. But yeah, that's gonna go and do it for that replay. Let's go and see the next one. And you know what? I don't know. I usually cut between these, but I actually ended up talking this time, so I guess I'll just show you the next one here. A little bit of behind the scenes, so to speak, but this next duel is going to end up being against Mathmech. So we definitely want to see Mathmech here, right? Because that's a lot of the reason why we're even playing this deck in the first place is, well, why we're playing it this way, I should say. I did want to play Twin Spright, but, you know, I wanted to play it with the Bystials, because, you know, again, good against Mathmech, and, again, at that point, it's like, we might as well just go ahead and play Synchros, as far as I'm concerned. Here I'm going to Lubellion for Magnamhut. We don't need to get Saronir here because we already have multiple lights set up in the graveyard. That's basically the determinant of whether I add a Saronir or not. And it is more often correct to add Saronir than I think a lot of people probably realize. Again, just to make sure you have that light monster in the graveyard. Because while a lot of the time we are just going to set up the Cupid Pitch, like, you never know, you know? We might end up getting disrupted or something, so. But here we can definitely just go ahead and set up Cupid Pitch first. We did already use the Caligo Claw Crow, so it's like, we're not going to get a search here, but... again, we do set up a light monster in the graveyard, one that we actually want to banish, more importantly. And we do a little bit of burn, why not? Chaos Ruler here really wants to find the Assault Synchron, because we don't have access to that just yet, and there he is. So boy, there's our man. Every time I excavate Assault Synchron off Chaos Ruler, I always think that. I've been saying it a lot lately too. I'm just like, there he is. There's our little man. Look at him. Just love that card. Anyway. Once again, summoning the Baronne de Fleur. Gonna bring back the Chaos Ruler by banishing Cupid Pitch and Caligo Claw Crow. And then I'll go ahead and sack it off for Lubellion, since I have the Assault Synchron in the graveyard that will allow me to bring back the Chaos Ruler. As always, ever make sure you're doing all this before you get too locked. Jet for starter. And this is so unnecessary, but I figured I'd do it anyway just for S's and G's. We can even make a turn 1 Chaos Angel here, using a light and a dark monster. That way, neither itself, nor Baronne, nor Chaos Ruler can be destroyed by battle, and they're also all unaffected by our opponent's activated monster effects. Gonna use Gigantic to bring out the Carrot, and then I'll go ahead and link off the Chaos Ruler with the Gigantic to summon our Elf. We'll use Elf to go ahead and bring back the Ki-Sikil, and this will allow us to pivot into our Live Twin engine. So, because we went for the Chaos Angel, we don't actually end on an IP here. Also because of the positioning I did as well, with the Baron being pointed to by the Elf. This is one of the few Spright decks where you actually do need the Elf zones to both have Link monsters in them, so... But it's fine. We can just, go ahead and... Oh, I wanted to starter for red here in case I drew the red off the Ki-Sikil draw. That's why I did it at this point in time, but... Now we can link off the Ki-Sikil and the Lil-la for the second Ki-Sikil to bring back the Lil-la during the opponent's turn. And there you go. This is like a full setup here. We did the Synchros, we did the Sprites, and then we did the Live Twins, so... And then we get to wheel back Druiswarm into our hand as well. Alrighty, opponent is going to take their turn now. We're going to start by activating Small World. Multiplication and Sakitama are going to end up adding the Thunder King Lightning Strike Kaiju, which, like, yeah, they can eat Baron here. Oh, we also get a draw off the Frost, and it's Maxi! Oh my god, what a draw. Like, yeah, they can eat Baron here, but this is, like, why, like, this is another reason, I should say, why I'm a bit iffy on Kaijus sometimes. In this meta, they are a little bit more well-poised, but you'll still find yourself in matchups like this where, like, a Kaiju is, like, kind of useless. Like, yeah, they did eat our best form of interaction, the form of Baronne de Fleur, but, like, we still have red, we still have Ki-Sikil, bringing back the Lil-la in the graveyard, we still have Elf bringing something back, we still have Callby, we still have Druiswarm, and we still have the Maxi up as well. Like, it's so easy for the Kaiju to not be enough in certain matchups like this one that's why I'm a little bit, like, meh on playing them sometimes. Alright, I'm going to use Callby in response to the Sigma activation. I probably should have activated Ki-Sikil in response. Oh, here I misclicked and activated Spright Elf instead of Ki-Sikil by accident, but it's fine because Lil-la doesn't care about being summoned by Ki-Sikil. It just wants to be summoned while you control a Ki-Sikil monster, and that will allow you to pop a card on the field. So we'll negate the Sigma, and we'll pop the Circular to cut off a lot of their bodies. They have a subtraction, but that's fine. We can go ahead and just... we'll allow that, and we'll disrupt later during the turn. Alright, they're going to summon Lingaribo and then go for the Parallel Exceed, but I'm going to negate and destroy it with the Spright Red here. I'm going to force them to have another Extender as exactly their last card here, which I think they actually do if I recall correctly. Yeah, they do. It's a normal summon to Microcoder, but they're going to link these two off and go for the Splash Mage. Now, if they want to go for Link Decoder here, they have to target a light or a dark monster, which means my Bystials are going to eat very good. Like, they could have targeted Parallel Exceed, but I think they wanted to go for Link Decoder, and Link Decoder needs a level 4 or lower. And yeah, that's going to be their last form of extension, and that's going to go ahead and cause them to surrender here. So, yeah, a couple of really good going first games we saw. This one especially showed off, again, pretty much everything the deck does. Again, we did the Synchros, then we did the Sprites, and then we did the Live Twin stuff. So, let's go ahead and go into our next game here. Okay, this duel here is going to be against Terer Knights. Good old Terer Knights. I believe we are going to end up going second here. Yes, we are. Okay, good. That's what I thought. And, yeah, I mean, we got an Ash Blossom, we got a Bystial. Should hopefully be enough interaction. They're going to start with Deneb. I'm going to go ahead and Ash Blossom the Deneb. Deneb being the Terer Knight Searcher. Now, it is, of course, easy for them to have another extender in their hand. There's a lot in this archetype, but I also figured that, you know, I'll use the Ash Blossom here and force them to have opened it. And they didn't. They're just going to set one card and pass. So, like, that's why, especially in the matchups where I'm, like, a little bit less certain about what exactly my opponent all could potentially have access to, like, I don't really know Terer Knights very well as an archetype or how they're built, but the way I figure it, if my opponent has a normal summon, and that's the first thing they're committing to, and that normal summon has a search that I know will grab an extender, I might as well Ash Blossom now and either force them to have the extender, or they'll just have to set a card or maybe do even less and then pass. And here, of course, it just set and then pass. So, gonna start off here with the Sunny Snitch. Grab myself a live twin Lil-la. Oh, another reason why I do actually really like twin Spright Synchro as opposed to other Spright Synchro variants. Well, this is all pre-Ringo Worm. Also, I want to point out this was a great interaction for my opponent here. Using the Ash Blossom first and then the Maxx. Very, very smart on my opponent's part. But the reason to play twins in Spright Synchro is because Spright Synchro, one of the drawbacks of the deck is that it does not have like any one card combos like at all. So especially if you're in top deck mode, it can be like very tricky to actually find plays sometimes. So the reason that I like having live twins as my engine for Spright Synchro is because we do actually have one card combos. Now we have the twins, or also Sunny Snitch to search a twin. Of course, once Ringo Worm comes out, then it's like, then we're not using twins anymore. Because although we are lacking one card combos, our deck is going to be so consistent, and our combos are going to be so strong that it's not going to matter. Chaos Ruler finding us our boy, our little man, Assault Synchron. God, I love this card so much. And, yeah, we'll go ahead and sack that off, the Chaos Ruler for the Lubellion. Lubellion's going to add the Regained. I'll go ahead and banish my live twins for the Chaos Ruler. Gonna draw an extra card off the Regained here. Gonna special Assault Synchron, and then I'll sync Assault Synchron and Chaos Ruler for the Baronne. And Chaos Ruler is going to end up coming back. But I want to point something out here about this interaction. Because I could see people getting really confused by this. This is not a very obvious ruling. However, the reason that I was able to bring back Chaos Ruler there is because I already had another Assault Synchron already set up in my graveyard. So if I had synchroed Assault Synchron and a Chaos Ruler that brought itself back by its own effect into Baronne, without already having a second Assault Synchron in the graveyard, then my Assault Synchron's effect to bring back Chaos Ruler would not have activated. The reason for this is that Assault Synchron already needs to be in the graveyard at the time that Chaos Ruler is being banished, which is not the case if you synchro Assault Synchron and a Chaos Ruler that has brought itself back from the graveyard. So just make sure that you're remembering that if you end up playing this deck, or really any deck that plays Assault Synchron and Chaos Ruler, right? Again, Assault Synchron has to already be in the graveyard before the Chaos Ruler actually leaves the field in order to be able to bring it back once it banishes itself. But here I'm just going to enter battle phase because we have more than enough damage on board to finish our opponent off. We also have the negates to play around Nib, but it's like, you know, no reason to give our opponent more draws if we don't need to. So we'll just finish him off right here, right now. We do have one final game to go ahead and take a look at for this video, so let's go straight into that here. And our final opponent for this video is actually going to be Kashtira. I know I said at the top of the video that Kashtira not seeing as much play is one of the reasons to play Bystials, but it doesn't mean that Kashtira is like a bad matchup necessarily either. Alright, going to begin with our live twin Lil-la, pulling out the Ki-Sikil for us. I'll special the Spright Blue to add ourselves the Jet. Opponent is going to draw Lockbird here, but thankfully we do have the Called by the Grave. And thankfully they do not have a second Droll, because if they did, they would actually be able to use that. That is an interaction that I've actually personally done before, but... Alright, now we're going to link off the Frost and Lil-la for the Spright Sprind. Once again, we're going to use Sprind to establish the Shinobi Necro in the graveyard. And I didn't really point this out before. Well, no, I did point this out before that, yeah. If you can make Sprind and you have a Bystial in hand, then you can do Synchro plays with that. You don't necessarily need to open Assault Synchron to be able to do your Synchro line. So, this right here we're about to see is like one of my favorite chain links in the game. Cupid Pitch, Chaos Ruler, Saronir, because we'll get multiple searches off the Cupid Pitch and the Chaos Ruler, and you get chain blocked in with the Saronir, which is also going to set up a Lubellion in the yard, which will further extend our plays with the Chaos Ruler. So, God, I love that chain link. That is my favorite chain link in all of Yu-Gi-Oh!, I think. Also, I saw that fun little fact on the screen that popped up. Apparently, 81.5% of the time Cupid Pitch is summoned, you win that duel. Go figure. Now, that does not mean that Cupid Pitch is a horribly OP card, mind you. It really just means that at that point, your combo is going off. You're probably just going to win already, so... Alright, we're going to draw off the Branded Brigade. I don't think we actually managed to mill ourselves in Assault Synchron, and we don't find one on the draw here. So, unfortunately, we can't go for the Baron, but... doesn't mean we don't have plays, not by any stretch of the imagination. Gonna overlay the Crow and the Shinobi, or not the Shinobi, the Sprind, rather, for the Gigantic, summoning the Spright Red. Now we get to link off Magnamhut and Jet for the Elf. And then we'll turn Lubellion and Gigantic into IP. Alright, we'll use Elf to bring back the Ki-Sikil Frost. That will allow us to set up our live twin plays. So yeah, here, we were just going to do pretty much regular twin Spright stuff. Mostly because, again, we didn't find Assault Synchron. But had we found Assault Synchron, we could have actually added Baronne de Fleur to this end board. So, that would have been fun, but... Alright, Ki-Sikil is going to get us the draw. We'll use Starter to pull out the Carrot. Oh, and I misplayed here, right? I was supposed to link these two off to go for the second Ki-Sikil. But it's fine, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I'm going to summon Unicorn, proc my Regained to add the Magnamhut. Now they're going to activate the Cashier Unicorn. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use IP, because I don't want them to take my Underworld Goddess, and I do want to get rid of this Unicorn, so we'll just do this now. That's fine. Yeah, they can get rid of the second Ki-Sikil. I don't need it anymore. Especially because now I can just bring back the Lil-la with the current Ki-Sikil, so... That's why it wasn't that big of a deal, even though it was technically a misplay, is because we had the IP there, so we had a way to get that Ki-Sikil off the field, or that Lil-la, rather, off the field anyway, so that way Ki-Sikil can bring it back, but yeah, as soon as my opponent goes to activate the Birth, I'm just going to chain the Ki-Sikil effect to bring back the Lil-la, then Lil-la can pop the Birth, and then from there we have Carrot, we have Ash Blossom, we have multiple ways to ensure that they are not going to be able to extend their plays any further, but yeah. That'll go ahead and do it for this video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it. And yeah, let's just go ahead and move now to our outro. Alright everybody, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching it all the way to the very end. That means a whole lot to me, and it's also a fantastic way to support the channel. And if you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways besides YouTube, there are plenty of ways to do that. If you check out the description below, you'll find a bunch of links down there. One of them goes to my Patreon. You're actually seeing the names of everyone subscribed to the Patreon on the screen right now. So if you're interested in getting your name in the credits here at the end, if you want to see more daily Master Duel content, or if you're interested in one-on-one private coaching sessions, I offer all of that on Patreon. I also stream live on Twitch. Feel free to go ahead and click that link and follow and or subscribe there. I also have the Discord community, if you want to follow that link, where hundreds of duelists have already signed up. Free to join, and you can just come hang out, talk about the game, and chill in general. Final link that's going to be in the description is my Twitter. You can follow that if you want some more notifications of what's happening with the channel. So, all in all, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.